I thought we were going to do some cooking.
Well, we are, but we sold like 10 of these in the past couple days. So, gotta get it done.
All right.
Ship them out.
Yeah, let's get cooking. Oh, I see that it's gumbo tonight.
Yes, I am going to make Exoman's famous gumbo, but I do need a little direction. I kind of remember how to do it, but you gotta help.
And I don't mind at all. Now, gumbo is something that when I was a boy, I lived with my grandmother in the French Quarter in New Orleans, and I would just watch. And I would watch my other grandmother cook it, and I would watch my mama cook it. Everybody cooks gumbo in Louisiana. What is gumbo? It's a different thing to different people, but the basis is the same. The basis of a good gumbo is a roux, a really good roux. You gotta make a good roux, that's your foundation.
And tomato.
And what is a roux? It's flour and oil. Yeah. And yes, tomato and okra. And then from there, it's your protein, it's your vegetables.
The Holy Trinity.
It's your rice. Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah, we're gonna start with the Holy Trinity.
Onions, celery, bell pepper.
And then a whole bunch of spices. You can. It's a Creole dish, so you can use Creole seasonings. I have a mixture of Creole seasonings here. We're going to have, obviously, onion, celery, bell pepper, and things like that, but I like to put a little extra onion powder in it to bump it, to just get that mixed through the mixture.
Yeah.
And we've got a beef stock today, since we're going to do meat. We're going to do sausage. This is going to be great.
You can do sausage, you can do seafood, you can do chicken, you can do all of that. You can do vegetarian.
And there are 100 different things you can put in gumbo. Some people put Worcestershire sauce, some people put lemon juice and things like that. Mine is, I wouldn't say simple, but I do just about the same thing every time.
And it's so delicious.
And it's delicious.
Everybody loves it.
And I don't mess it up.
No.
I've messed up some dishes before because I wasn't paying attention, but gumbo is just like, it's therapeutic and it's just like a dance. And
the only way to really mess it up is to mess up the roux. You have to pay attention to the roux when you're making it.
And that is an incredibly simple process. So, all right.
All right.
Let's get started. Now let's talk a little bit about our ingredients. As we said, we have chopped tomatoes and okra, right? Well, if you're a purist, you're probably going to want to roast and chop your own tomatoes. You're probably going to want farm fresh okra. For all I know, you're a super purist and you grow your own okra and tomatoes.
We've done that.
Exactly. But if you're making a gumbo and you don't have time for all that, it doesn't matter. It's going to be so delicious, so savory, you're not going to notice the difference.
Just the combination of flavors all mingled
so many
together.
flavors.
So
Yeah. Okay, so this will suffice. A 28-ounce can of chopped tomatoes and 12 ounces to a pound of okra. I think a pound would be better for a good okra. Now, this is obviously going to be a big enough dish that we're going to have leftovers. And I don't really have a recipe, which is why we're doing this. Every time I make it from scratch. I don't look at anything. I don't have anything written down.
And it's always better the next day anyway.
Yes, this is true. Gumbo is a thing that is always, when it sits, it ages a little bit, and the flavors come together into something exquisite. So that is an important point. All right, so here I've got a chunk of ham. We've actually raised our own pigs before and used our own ham in the gumbo, but this is store-bought ham. This is just a smoked ham cut. This is a seasoning ham. It's like maybe tasso that you would get in Louisiana, but I don't have any tasso. But this is a good smoked seasoning ham. This is sometimes I use alligator, but this sausage is crawfish sausage. So
crawfish and beef?
Yeah, crawfish and I think I think pork and beef. So it's going to be a little mixture. That makes it kind of almost a seafood, but not really. And this is just a typical smoked sausage, like you could use Louisiana or, you know, Hillshire Farms, whatever the heck you want. Andouille. I don't have any andouille. I usually have that in stock, but as I've said,
doesn't really matter.
Doesn't really. It can be.
It's
different every time.
Yeah.
You remember the time I made seafood gumbo and I put black sea bass in it?
Oh yes.
And it was terrific.
So good.
I put it in late in the game, and because it didn't get mushy, but you can do crab, shrimp, all kinds of different things. All right, so let's get started. Why don't I have you chop up these vegetables?
All right.
We're getting ahead of ourselves quickly. That looks great. We'll go ahead and cut the garlic and we'll cut the meat, so everything will be prepped. And before we start cooking, we'll start with our roux. You might need an apron. Okay, we have the garlic chopped up, the meat, everything's prepped.
Ready to go? I preheated the oven to 350, so I know you like to make the sausages nice and toasty and
yes,
crisp.
Great idea. Let's do that before we get going with the roux. Oh, I hear that.
Oh yeah, it's ready to roll.
Now you can brown these in a pan on the stovetop or in the oven. You don't have to do this, but isn't it nice to have the meat browned up a little bit?
Oh yeah.
It just adds so much to the flavor.
All right, I'm putting it in.
All right.
Matches perfectly.
Yeah, you don't want to get grease on your nice little dress there. Now for this, roughly a cup of flour, and I can ad lib, okay? Because this is how I cook. Again, I'm not using a written recipe, so I do roughly.
You want to have your
my wooden
spatula.
Yep. What I typically do is I put my flour in, and then I don't measure, but it's probably going to end up being 3/4 of a cup or a cup. In this case, avocado oil. We don't use butter. We got that on a nice medium-high heat. We don't use butter because butter is too wet. It has too much water in it, and it's not a high heat substance.
Right, you need a high heat oil,
Yeah.
like avocado or grapeseed.
Right.
Yeah. So are you ready to tell me when?
Yeah, just start pouring it and
Are
mixing.
you nervous?
No. We're not nervous at all. Well, don't get it all over your spatula. Okay. That's good. Come together, and we'll see. Now this is just a little chemistry. Now you'll see that's not enough. It's like making cement or concrete. You dump a bag of concrete into a wheelbarrow, and you start adding water, and you add water until you get the proper consistency.
That's how you make frosting too.
With roux, this is really important, so pay attention here. Now with roux, you'll find that the texture not only changes with the addition of extra oil, but also with the heat. It'll get
It's very pasty right now.
You might find you have a nice soupy roux, and then as it heats up and cooks a little bit, it gets drier looking. So you just add a little more oil. The objective here is to keep it moving and to keep it
From burning.
Keep it from piling up too high and keep it from burning.
It's very smooth now. You don't want any lumps.
Yeah.
But you're really not going to have any as long as you
Now you can leave it sit for a minute.
stirring.
See how it flattens out when I roll the pan? Now let it sit for a minute. We're getting more of it into contact with the heat. And when we won't be done with this roux until it's very dark. I like a nice dark roux. You could call this done if you wanted a light green gumbo, but that just doesn't. It's not going to have.
Light green?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not going to be as dark brown and rich.
Then
if you
that's
don't
not a gumbo.
brown the roux. Yeah, it's anybody's gumbo. It's not going to hurt to add a little more oil.
This, folks, is why this is not a diet food.
But then this is not just 2 bowls of gumbo either.
No, this is going to be a lot of gumbo. Stir in that roux, Cher.
Now see, we've probably got close to a cup of oil in there now, and Farm Girl doesn't want to add much more oil, so she's just going to work it this way. If you had more oil, it would be more of a liquid. Yep. See, if you lift the pan up, you regulate the heat that way. That helps. And you want to brown it, not char it. That's the trick. So you got to keep it moving. And you see it's getting rich. The darker the roux, the toastier, and the darker the gumbo. Is your hand getting tired?
Yes.
But you look marvelous.
Thank you. Ow.
Sometimes my hand hurts. Sometimes I'm hot. Sometimes I'm cold. Alright, so we're getting to where I like to be, which is somewhere between, I'd say, caramel and milk chocolate in color. I think that's pretty good. We want to keep that hot, but let's back burner that for a minute. And now she's going to put the tomatoes in there. And also, I want to bring those up to heat. I like to introduce hot roux to hot tomatoes. She's going to add a cup of water. We're just going to get started because today I'm using a paste for roux. For bullion, rather, I'm adding a paste. I'm not going to be working with a liquid, so I'm going to be adding water as is needed to keep the viscosity that I like. Okay. So now we'll go ahead and add. Look how dark that is. Let's go ahead and put some bullion in there. Let's do a couple of tablespoons of that. We can add more if we need it. Yeah. It's kind of hard to get on. But we don't want to get too salty too quickly. You can always add, you can't take away. Now stir that in. Let me get out that spoon.
You're brave. Sticking your hand over here with all these heat.
Oh, that smells good already.
It really does.
Yeah, I find if I mix hot roux with hot stew, then everything works together nicely instead of having the oils congeal, when they hit the cold stew. Thick there, so she's going to add another cup of water.
And it's so brown and rich looking.
Yeah. So isn't that a nice idea to make a nice dark roux?
Wow. Yeah. I'm going to take this brown sausage out so it doesn't burn. And we'll get the veggies started.
So she's going to start with the celery and the bell pepper because those take the longest to cook. And it's always good. It's very important to saute your vegetables. Now, you saw what we did with the veggies. We had one bell pepper. You want a pretty good size. If they're small, get 2. We had 2 medium onions. I could have had 3, or one really big one. It's not that critical. Maybe 3 sticks to 5 sticks of celery, depending on how big your celery is. None of this is that critical, folks.
Now it's really gonna smell good in here.
All right. So those are about ready. I'm going to dump the sausage and try not to dump all that oil in there because we got plenty of oil in this. Browning the sausage in the oven helps you cook off some of that fat.
Ready to put the veggies in the pot?
Yep, and those veggies contain a lot of water.
Translucent. And they smell delicious. It already smells perfect. I should have put these bay leaves in a little sooner, but they're going in now. So Exoman wants me to brown the ham a little bit. So...
While that's browning, Farm Girl's going to add some pepper. Just
black pepper.
be careful, careful that. That's good. Because you're going to add a little
maybe
cayenne.
Maybe 2 teaspoons?
No.
No?
Probably half. And then probably about a teaspoon to a
Creole seasoning.
teaspoon and a half of your favorite Creole seasoning. Keep going a little more. That should be good. We can always add, right?
A little cayenne pepper.
Sprinkle, because we might be serving this to people who don't like a lot of heat.
Like we
That's good. That's good.
Okay.
Can always add.
Which we will.
Which we will. Now, after we brown up this meat a little bit and add that, we're going to cook the snot, as I say, out of the okra.
Yes.
All right. So
All right.
ham is going in. Now we've probably already put 2 cups of water in there.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a third, because I can tell we need it a little bit thinner.
Yeah, it's very thick. And
Now,
awesome.
I say that this is cooking the snot out of the okra, and it literally is. The okra has a thick,
Interesting texture.
gooey texture, and if you just dump it right into your gumbo, you're going to make a gooey gumbo. But I find if you cook your okra down by sautéing it, you'll see the strands. See the stranding of that gumminess? That will subside a little bit. All right. Now, it shouldn't take more than 4 or 5 minutes. If your okra is frozen, it'll take a little longer, but we're getting there. And in goes the okra. Are you rubbing your butt on the cook? He was, wasn't he?
He's trying to knock me over.
Now, let's pan this garlic a little bit, if you'll knock that in there for me. Just gonna add a little butter for flavor. We'll do about
How much you want?
2 tablespoons. Definitely don't want to burn the garlic, so let's deglaze this pan. Get all that nice flavor from the veggies and okra and all that stuff off.
Wow, that's a full pot.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's basically your gumbo right there. You can, when you're just about finished cooking, you can add some filet. You don't want to add this during the whole cooking process, because it'll make your it'll be thick and gooey. This stuff turns kind of gelatinous if you cook it too much with the gumbo. So we'll put that in, right before we're done.
A little
Just
bit of garlic
add that
powder.
magical sassafras flavor. This is ground sassafras.
Onion powder. Yeah.
If you let your gumbo cook on a low heat, let it stew for a while. That's going to bring that medley of flavors together. And now is when you can, tweak your gumbo. Add a few things that you like. I like a little vinegary taste of Tabasco, that spicy vinegar taste. Like I say, Worcestershire, lemon, things like that. And don't go crazy. I mean, you don't need saffron or weird stuff like that. You don't want to mess up the flavor of your gumbo. But just if you like a little more salt, a little more pepper, white pepper, black pepper, red pepper.
All right, Exoman, you ready for gumbo?
And you're dressed again for the occasion.
Yes,
All right,
of course.
Let's serve it up.
Always the proper wardrobe. You know me, right?
Note that I have cooked the rice. A little trick, if you put too much salt in your gumbo, which you really shouldn't do.
Oh, that always scares me. I'm always afraid of
Yeah, don't put too much salt in your gumbo, but if you happen to, just don't put salt in your rice when you cook your rice.
Ah, so smart.
And because your rice is basically a filler from the old days when they needed to stretch things out, they always added rice.
And I usually just do a little bit to soak stuff up. Wow. That's amazing looking. And it's because it started with that deep roux.
Yeah, that's gonna be terrific. I can guarantee it.
Oh yeah.
Gonna go ahead and guarantee it.
Pretty excited about this. You want to try the first bite?
Sure.
Is it delicious?
It's every time. It's a novelty every time.
Wow, that looks amazing. And all that flour and oil is dispersed, so there's not that much in your one little bowl.
Yeah, you give it a shot.
I like it.
See if you like it. Now, if only we had a Dixie beer, right? Oh, I see your leg went up. That's a good sign.
Delish.
All right.
Oh, it's so good. We didn't even put the filet in there.
Nope. So you don't even have to put the filet in there.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just another thing to be aware of. You don't need filet. Most people don't even know. They can't tell the difference.
Thanks for suggesting this, and thank me for cooking it.
Thank you for cooking it. And that goes in our cookbook, right? Banshee Moon Cookbook.
Thank you for watching, everyone.